Fabric capacity is really expensive. If you take a look at the pricing page, an F128 is almost $17,000 every month. An F16 is $2,000. We are going to cover how we can take advantage of Azure Data Factory pipelines to turn our capacity off to save costs. Let's get started. Welcome back to another Pragmatic Works YouTube video. My name is Zane Goodman, a data engineer trainer here at Pragmatic Works. Today, we're going to leverage Azure Data Factory to toggle our capacities off when they are not being used. Now, you might be wondering, why are we going to be using Azure Data Factory pipelines for this instead of Fabric pipelines? They are similar after all. Well, you could probably imagine that if we have a capacity that is turned on supporting a pipeline that's supposed to turn that capacity off, you could run into some issues. So if you wanted to stick within the Fabric system, then you might want to have a dedicated capacity that's on all the time, so it could run a pipeline that turns everything else off. Azure Data Factory is also a very cheap option because you only need to pay for the execution or the pipeline executions that you've performed. So without further ado, let's jump over into my Azure Data Factory instance. So here I am inside of my Azure Data Factory instance. And to get started, we have a lookup activity to begin. Now, be aware there are Fabric APIs available that will return the list of capacities you have access to within your tenant. But because of some reasons that I'll mention a little bit later on in this video, that's not going to work for this particular solution. So stick with me for now. I have an Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 account, and that account has a CSV file that lists three very important items: the capacity name, the resource group the capacity is a part of, and the subscription ID that's supporting both. Those three pieces of information are going to be everything you need to turn a capacity off, leveraging an Azure API. So you want to make sure that you get a list of that within an Azure Data Lake account or some other storage system that you can use a lookup activity to extract that data. Okay, so there we go. Step one, we have to have access to that information: capacity name, resource group, and then subscription ID. I have a lookup activity that's going to return that data. Let's take a look at what that data actually looks like. So I've already executed this pipeline, so I can come over to the output. Let's find list Fabric capacity info. That's going to be the top one right here. And if I expand this JSON here, we are going to see some important information. So here I have an array of objects, essentially writing out each one of the rows within the CSV file. You can see I have a name, which is going to be the capacity name. You can see I have the resource group, which is where that capacity is located. And then I have a subscription ID, which will be blurred out for you. But it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different capacities that have been returned to me. And this is just coming from a table that I created, or a CSV file. With pipelines in general, whether it be an ADF or within Fabric, it's always important to be aware of the output of your activities so you know where to go next with future activities. With that done, just thinking logically through the next steps here, what do I need to do? Well, I'm going to need to use a ForEach activity so I can loop through that list of my capacities. I'm going to go one by one, and of course the goal is to turn each of them off. But let's hit this little pencil icon here, and we'll dive in a bit deeper. And you'll see this is inside of my ForEach activity, and the first item is a web activity. What is this one doing? Well, you can see that in settings, I am currently connecting to the management.azure.com API, and it requires a couple of pieces of info. First of all, I need the subscription ID, which I'm going to use item, which is pointing to the ForEach's current item it's iterating over. I'm going to grab the subscription and pass that in, or the subscription ID. Same with the resource group. And then it's going to pass in the capacity name that I'm currently iterating over. What are we doing here? Well, we're trying to find out if the capacity is on or not. The reason that we have to do this is because if I were to just try and take that list and turn all of them off, if some of them were already off, then we would run into errors. You could get away with it, but try not to cut corners here. So to do it right, let's find out which capacities are already off and which ones are on. So that is what this API is going to return to me. I'm going to press cancel. And just a few things to note here. This is going to require me to have a GET method. I'm requesting some information to be returned to me. The authentication is going to be system assign manage identity. I'll mention that again here in just a little while. And then the resource in particular is going to be the management.azure.com API. So then I have an if condition. And what we're trying to do is say if, and actually let's just take a look at what that condition is. So if I go to activities for my if condition, we can see here, I'm using the output of check if capacity is active, which is this web over here. And I'm checking the state, which is one of those pieces of info that it actually returns to me, telling me if it's paused or resumed. And in this case, I'm saying, hey, does the state equal paused? Is this capacity paused? And if it is, if that's true, then we're going to follow the true path of this if condition. So let's hit this pencil icon and dive in a little bit deeper. So what are we doing here? Well, I added onto this pipeline something that I find to be very helpful. You don't have to do this by any means, but I don't want to just turn my capacities off. I want to know that they are off. So every day at 6 p.m., all of my capacities are turned off and I get a notification in Teams. So when I'm driving home from work, I get that little message after everyone's left the office and I know we're safe, we're good to go. No capacities are going to be on overnight. Of course, you would need to adjust that according to the times that your capacity needs to be off or on. So if it's already off, I still want that message to be sent. So what we do is we actually use a set variable activity, and I change the adaptive card variable, which is a variable that I have. Let me just dive back over to the main object here and go to variables. You can see I have an adaptive card variable here. And going back into my if condition, I'm setting the value for this adaptive card to this right here. So there's a bunch of jargon going on here, but essentially, this is going to be something that works with Power Automate within Teams. So you can set up a workflow within Teams that will accept an adaptive card. And I'm setting the JSON up, applying some of the pieces of data that I have from the pipeline. So I can see under facts right here, I have a value for run ID. And I pass in the run ID. Where do I get that from? The pipeline. How about the state? It tells me, you know what? We're going to add into this adaptive card, and I will show you that as well here in a little while. Well, that is going to be paused. At least that's the goal. And then we also have the timestamp as well. The biggest part here is the message. So next to text, I say the fabric capacity, and then I use this statement right here, item.name, which is going to return the name of whichever capacity is being iterated over at the time, whether it's PW prod or whether it's fabric PW, whichever capacity is, it will let me know that name, telling me that it's paused. So essentially, that's setting up the value for the adaptive card. And then the web activity, I am passing in a URL that you would get from setting up that workflow in Teams. You would pass that in right there. It's a post request. And then you just add in adaptive card within the JSON function, and that will turn that into adaptive card. And again, I will point that out and show you what that looks like here in just a moment. So that's what happens if the capacity is already off. But going backwards just a little bit here, now what happens if the capacity is on? Well, let's jump into the false section of this if condition. First thing to do is turn the capacity off. So I go to settings, and I make a post request, making sure to put in the body this statement right here, this object, turn off. With that taken care of, I can run the following API command. So I'm passing in the current subscription ID, the current resource group, and the current capacity name. You can see attached onto the end of this API call, suspend is added here, which means it will turn the capacity off for me at that time. With the capacity off, what's the next step here? Well, again, at this point, you could just call it a day, but I'm going to add just a little bit more. Remember, I want to send that Teams message, and a part of that Teams message is going to take advantage of the helpful information that the APIs give me. I want to be able to pass in not just a text that says paused. No, I want to have a confirmed result returned from the API that states that capacity is paused to make sure It's not something wrong with my pipeline, but the API has went and spoken with the capacity. They've had a coffee together and that capacity is off. So I actually make another web call here, another API call. It's another GET request to the same capacity, trying to find if it's paused or not. Now, you and I know that it's paused, but this is just to make sure that we are not just trusting in just a text that we put here, but we are calling the API again, just to confirm, making sure everything's good to go. So that's what I do in this case, and that's going to return paused, essentially. Now that I know it's paused, I actually have that piece of data that I can use within the adaptive card. So in settings for this particular variable, adaptive card, same variable, just different value, I set up the same type of message where I pass in stating the fabric capacity and I pass in the name of that capacity is off. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Instead of me just typing out paused, I want to use the output of the activity, get capacity info. That's just going to make sure that I know 100% the capacity's off. So we take care of that. And then finally, we make one final web activity that's going to send a message to my Teams channel that I set up for this. It's going to be another post request. At this point, what have we achieved? We've achieved a pipeline that is going to accept a list of capacities as well as necessary information that goes along with those capacities. It's going to loop through all of those capacities and check if they're off. If they are off, then we're just going to send a quick message to ourselves or whoever else that we'd like to alert this information up that the capacity is off. If it's on, we're going to take advantage of some Azure APIs to turn it off. Then we'll again send that Teams message. Now, I would honestly prefer to automate even more here and take advantage of the Fabric API that would list out for me the capacities that I have access to. Why am I not doing that here? That Fabric API does not return the resource group or the subscription ID with the capacity names. And because of that, it doesn't exactly fit with the Azure API that requires those two pieces of information. So the solution is set up some kind of table, some kind of data set that contains all of that information that you can add to and remove from in the future. And honestly, one of the reasons that this is a good solution is because you might not want to turn all of your capacities off. Maybe you don't want that to leverage that API that returns all of them, but instead have a very specific list of the capacities that you do want to turn off at the end of the day. By the way, you could continue to build on this. Maybe you want to build another version that turns all of these capacities on. You could also do that with the same exact APIs. There's a few more things that I do want to touch on. The first is going to be that Teams adaptive card. So let me show you that. All right, so here I am inside of my Teams channel. This is where I have sent my alerts, letting me know my capacities have been turned off. And you can adjust these adaptive cards as much as you want. Using JSON, you could add more information, remove some information, but you can see I even have a little emoji here letting me know that, hey, my capacity has been turned off. And this is going to show here for all of my capacities that were turned off, whether they were paused already or not. And that's one of the reasons we use that if condition, because if we were to just send alerts for the capacities that we turn off, well, then there could be capacities that were already off that we would miss and not know that they are off. So now we are covered. If you want to set up this workflow within your own Teams channel, you can build a new channel and just hit the ellipsis and hit workflows. And there are some templates that you can use to send a, here, I'll click on it here and we can look at it. Send webhook alerts to a channel. And that's going to give you the information that you need to set up that web activity in your pipeline. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like me to make a YouTube video on setting up that portion of this alert system. All right, continuing on, let's dive back over into Azure Data Factory. Here we are. So here's our pipeline. Now, hopefully this is something that can be a helpful item for you, making sure your capacities are off. This is definitely something that we like to implement into our clients' environments when we're on a consulting job, whether it be just going in to help them with the project, or if we're doing a quick start and migrating their current solution over into Fabric for the first time, we like to just make sure that their capacities are taken care of. I know for sure this has been very helpful to me for the past year, almost 2 years, just covering my bases, making sure I'm not leaving some capacities on because I do not want that to occur. There's one more thing that I want to show you here. Actually, two more things. The first is the trigger. So within Azure Data Factory, I can add in a trigger. So I can hit the drop down for my triggers. I have one daily capacity turn off. I could create more. You have a lot of control here, turning your capacity off or all of your capacities off whenever it works for you. You know, some people that don't have jobs running between 6 p.m. and 1 a.m. Depends on when those jobs are running, when that capacity is needed. And the last thing I wanted to show you is how you can ensure that your pipeline actually has the access to turn off these capacities. So remember that when you create a Azure Data Factory instance, that comes with a system assigned managed identity. And we can use that managed identity to apply the access we need. So how do we do that? And what are the specific roles that you need? Because it is not very intuitive at first. So let's take a look. If I go over to one of my capacities, and I'm going to click on PW prod capacity, and specifically, we are going to need to open up the resource group. You could also do this on the subscription. And here's my subscription. I got a bunch of items here. I'm going to go over to access control. And on the resource group, you would want to create a custom role. I'll create a pretend custom role here for just a second. And essentially, with this custom role, you want to provide it a name like Fabric Capacity Administrator, Fabric Capacity Contributor, whatever you'd like. I usually like to clone my reader role. In this case, it works perfect. Then over in permissions, these are the specific permissions that you're going to need. So you're going to add permission and you are going to search Fabric, go to Microsoft Fabric, and you can search capacity. And you'll need read Fabric Capacity. You'll need suspend, read this specified or suspend the specified Fabric capacity. And I like to include resume, even though we're not resuming anything, resume the specified Fabric capacity, just in case you wanted to build on that pipeline later. The permissions are already here. And then add. You'll go through, review and create, so on from there. So imagining that I gave that a name and I added it and everything. Now I would go to the individual capacity so I can provide the system assigned managed identity of my ADF instance, that particular role on the capacity. So I'd go to the capacity, I would go to access control, I would then add my role assignment, I would search for capacity, and we'll see I've got Fabric Capacity Contributor right here. I'll click on that and press next. I'll click Assign Access to Managed Identity. I'll select my members. My ADF instance is in the PW training subscription, so you'll want to make sure to keep track of the subscription that instance is located in. I would select under Managed Identity all system assigned managed identities, and then I would search toggle because that's the name of my ADF instance, and I have PW capacity toggle on off and select that there. Then I could select next, review and assign, and at that point, my pipeline could turn the capacity off. And you would need to perform this process here for every single one of the capacities that you want to turn off using the Azure API within the pipeline. All right, everyone, that is everything that you need to set up in order to build an ADF pipeline that will turn your capacities off at the end of the day or whenever you want them to be turned off. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to dive in deeper into any of the topics that we covered in this video, or if you have an idea of how you would build or improve on this particular pipeline. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.